welcome to ABP Live. I have with me today Nobel laureate Professor Mohammad Yunus, and we know that he's been the founder of Grameen Bank. He's popularly known as the banker to the poor. Today we are going to understand from him as to what really has happened in Bangladesh, what's next for the future, and of course for countries like India, which is the immediate neighbor and also seen as a partner country, what is expected from New Delhi. All that and more, we are going to speak to Professor Yunus, who's connecting with us all the way from Paris. Welcome to ABP Live, sir, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. So we know that the crisis sort of is unfolding in Bangladesh. We know that, we can call her former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She's left the country. She's come to India. And, for all you know, she can be going to London. That's not clear. But just to understand from you, we know that the country is now under army control, and we've heard the army chief has said that there'll be an interim government. But to understand from you, are we back to where things were way back in 2007, when again a caretaker government had come in, of course, backed by the army? If that is the situation today, when things have really changed, even geopolitically, how do you see Bangladesh coming out of this crisis?
Thank you. I'm seeing it in a different way. I'm seeing it, we had the celebration of liberation on 16th of December, 1971. That's a fantastic celebration that we had because we just came out of Pakistani occupation and became an independent country. Today, we are having a second Liberation Day. It's a fantastic celebration going all over the country. We got rid of something that we didn't want to sit around on our heads all these years. And finally, we got rid of it. So that's the way people are responding to it. Millions of people are on the street. It's all led by students. It's all started in a simple way. Students wanted something changed in their quota for the government jobs. Simple demand, but the way mistreated, mishandled by the government, by attacking them, beating them, shooting them, it grew bigger and bigger. The Prime Minister brought in police after police to handle them. Sound grenades was thrown at them, bullets were thrown at them, people died in the process, and it became bigger. He brought the border guards to control. Again, it became bigger, many people killed. And then he brought the army and the curfew. So it went on and on with the support and encouragement of the government to make it happen. Ultimately, it became so big and the demand becomes simple now, not a quota, resign. You are the one that this created all this mess, so you resign and go. And finally, she had to resign and go.
Sir, also, I know the immediate trigger is the job quota, the kind of quotas that were coming in, and then the government tried to pacify. But we've been really watching this unfolding for a very long time. We also saw in January how the court case went against you. And even before that, the way US was saying that there should be a democratic process that should be followed in the January elections. And the fact that there was always this kind of tussle between US and China and, of course, India in between. And she was anyway getting a little unpopular within the government, within the country as well. Why do you think, and when do you think that really started?
Because of misrule, misgovernment, taking away the political right, democracy completely denied. People couldn't vote in election, but she got elected by fake elections, one after another. And these young people who, in a population of 170 million people, they are 2/3 of the population, all these young people. They could never vote in an election. Many of them has crossed 3 terms of parliament, but never had the election to vote for. So this is the denial of the possibility of expressing yourself in the electoral process, in the democratic process, and suppressing your views and things like that, defying everybody. She became one country, one leader, one narrative. Everything revolves around her. She's the only person in the whole country. So this is and filled of corruption everywhere. So this is how ultimately small thing get a spark, and this big volcanic eruption has taken place.
But what we were given to understand is that the opposition for this will be the coming in of Jamaat, which is something was concerning not just for the US, or maybe not for the US, but for India. So what could have been the solution? I mean, what I meant to say is that was there a credible opposition too? Because we saw what's been happening to the BNP too. I mean, you can really correct me, but what was the alternative really?
Democracy is a very funny thing. You allow everybody to participate as long as he or she is not violating the law. So whether it's a Jamaat, whether it's a PNP, they are citizens of the country. They want to participate in election. They have the chance to participate in a legal way. They are not getting that chance. You're blaming them for this, blaming for that, make up all kinds of stories. The government has become kind of a factory of lie making. People see that through that you do that. It become such a common feature of how the government behave in a situation. So they were denied participation. You blame them for this also. If Trump can run in a presidential election, he says things, obnoxious things, but nobody says, oh, he should be denied to the right to run in the election. Nobody says that. It's his right. Whether people like it or not, it's up to the people to decide. You didn't give any chance to people to decide whether they like Jamaat or not. You decided Jamaat is no good. That's the problem. You have to get back to the democratic process. Give them the freedom, every single citizen's freedom to express themselves, form their own political party, express themselves, as long as they don't violate the law.
So, but then now to understand from you, Professor, what's next? I mean, we are going to see another army-backed caretaker government. Do you think that will be able to bring any kind of stability? And also, I'm asking this because you are aware the kind of, backlash or, the tensions India is facing in its borders also. People are trying to cross over, and, there are these tensions that you can read the statements from the Border Security Force, the BSF, the kind of problems they are facing. But even then, we were seeing that Bangladesh GDP growth was rising and all that. Do you think now with this kind of setup that will come in, as the army chief has said, that there'll be no emergency and interim government, a caretaker government will be coming in? How long will that be able to continue unless, until the time stability comes in Dhaka?
The way I've been positioning myself and telling people in all this chaos and kind of violence, the demonstrations and killing, the only solution is democracy. Go back to democracy. You cannot solve political problem by guns. You cannot solve the political problem by accusing people and putting them into jail for fake things like that. So we have to get back to democracy and election. So today, that's open the door for opening the thing that we need the elections coming. The students led the way because she will not give any election or election in a fake way. Nobody was convinced by the opportunity they were offered. So this is how all the problems began. So I would say that let's go back to the election process. And now she has resigned. The election has to take place. In a normal way that we have a procedure called caretaker government. It was put in the constitution to the demands of Awami League, and they succeeded in having the caretaker government in the constitution. But as soon as she was elected, Awami League was elected to the government, and they scattered. So let's put back, because everybody likes that. This is the way to solve the problem of manipulation of the government, manipulation of the election. So this would be my appeal to the country, that please put back this caretaker government and hold a fair and transparent election, so that nobody doubts. Everybody has a kind of celebratory mood to go to the polling booth, casting their vote, and feel happy for their candidate, hoping their candidate will win, watch the television and counting the numbers and so on, because you are part of that process. That process disappeared. Young people don't know how his election is held. They haven't seen an election in their life.
Mhm. And Professor, how would you see to some of the commentary that's also coming in from various quarters within India and also outside is they're not ruling out a CIA's hand in it or maybe an ISI hand in whatever has happened. How would you like to address those kind of commentary that's coming in?
Well, in a situation like that, everybody blames everybody else. If some people talk about CIA, somebody talks about something else, somebody talks about RAW from India, so Chinese agents and so on. So that's their game. That's how you play that game. Somebody is doing it because you don't like it, so you say it's RAW is doing it. Somebody is doing something you don't like, it's a CIA operator. Those kind of
Mhm. Mhm. But why so much of anarchy? I mean, this is not the first time, of course, Bangladesh is seeing this kind of protests, and it has always, been a kind of country which, where people have really risen whenever times have come, whenever the need be. But this kind of anarchy is sort of unprecedented. Would you agree to that, or do you think the frustration or the pent-up anger within people was so much that, that sort of exploded?
You said it. That's what the whole reason. You took away election. You took away right to speak out, right to express themselves. They don't know. You are sitting there. You don't want to quit. You have every way to manipulate the election. And unfortunately, India has been supporting that. And that's why people are angry with India, that you have taken away, helped the person who's taking away all our rights. You are supporting her. So they become angry with the country which is supporting her. So they think all these things are done by law, or the thing that has been happening and so on. So you blame those people. The real issue is that bring back the democracy so that people have no grudge the decision of the government because we selected the government. We voted for the election. We voted for the persons who were in there. Today, they were not voted. They just picked up at random.
Mhm. And of course, you were talking about India's role and, also the commentary that, Raw's hand could be in this. But officially, how do you see India's reaction to all these months, when the unrest was sort of building up and even now when the crisis has really unraveled? Uh, we've not seen really official statements coming out from India. But do you think that this is the time really for New Delhi to stand beside the people and understand, what is it that Bangladeshis really want?
Yeah, I was very shocked. I was very hurt when India said, no, this is internal matter. We can't do anything about it. I said, come on. You come and participate in our election. And today people are demonstrating on the street and they're being shot dead. You have no role to play. It's internal. We have been doing this with the young people and appealing to the whole world that innocent young people from Bangladesh are being shot by their own government. Please help us. And India said this is internal matter. So this is what make people angry that India didn't do the right thing to do, rather than stay away. I said, if your neighbor's house is burning, is in fire, you can't say this is their internal affair. You say, oh, don't do that. This is going to hurt us. It's going to hurt you and it's going to hurt us. Because if Bangladesh becomes in a total mess in violation, in violence and everything, it will spill over all over your borders. You cannot stop it. I'm glad Mamata Banerjee picked it up. Said, I'll open the door. Please, you can come anytime. It created problem for her in India. But she did the right thing. Because many people, if it continued, many of these young people took shelter in the eastern regions and in the western borders of Bangladesh. And it will spill over to those people. And it will create more problem for everybody. But India didn't do that. India wanted to support only one person.
And you think India had a role in the last elections also?
Absolutely, yes. They made it very clear. It's not a hidden thing. They made press statements. And India always the first country to congratulate her, present her bouquet. Always the first one.
Okay, fair enough. Also, Professor, I wanted to understand from you, since the time you left the country and, you also probably at one time wanted to float your own political party. Do you think that now probably charges against you would be dropped and you will be able
I
to
have
come back to your
I have
country
no idea.
do
I have
this?
no idea what will happen because it's just started a new regime, new
Would you like
country, right?
would you like to lead the new the interim setup that the government, that the army is planning to organize? I've heard that non-political personalities will be heading the group. Would you like to be? Would you like to participate, or be take the leadership role in that?
I will try to be as miles away as possible from those things. I'm not a politician. I don't want to get involved with politics. So I have done it before also when I was invited to become the head of the government. I said, I'm not a politician. I'm not fit for that kind of job. I do things for people and I know how to do that. And I love that. And I work with people. Some people like it, some people dislike it, but I don't mind. My work goes on like that. But this is a completely new territory. I don't want to get involved with that.
Sir, and my last question to you, I know this is a very difficult time for Bangladesh, but, over the years, in the last 10 years, or maybe before, but especially now that, there is, the world is facing multiple wars, rather to say, Bangladesh has a very unique, crucial, and strategic location in the Bay of Bengal. It's not just India, it's China, it's US, everybody is interested in that country. So do you think that, this crisis needs to be resolved as soon as possible before things really go out of control and Bangladesh goes into this, in a dark era? Because, we've seen how sort of Sri Lanka has managed. We've seen what has again happened with Afghanistan. So, there are several examples within India's neighborhood, but Bangladesh has been this bright spot, with economic growth and everything. Do you think this crisis really needs to be resolved, which is going to be acceptable to the people, and that needs to really come soon?
My comments on that is countries which have lots of weapons, lots of money, lots of destructive power, they're just itching to get into war. Find some excuse to get into war. So they are the ones who's creating all these problems. Countries with lots of defense expenditure and so on. I said, if we wanted peace, that's what we talk about all the time, peace, peace. We have the United Nations peace and other initiatives in peace. I said, if you wanted peace, we are reflected in our actions. We don't reflect it now. You have a war ministry, you call it defense ministry. You have the largest amount of allocation in your budget for the defense ministry. And you spend a lot of money to design and make it efficient to kill people. You have war industry. You have war technology. Make it more sharp, more quick, more people dead. This is where you devoted your money and talent and creativity. If you want peace, where is the peace ministry? You should be having peace ministry in every single government. And their job is to how to protect peace, how to bring peace. And they'll be negotiating with the war ministry, please cool down. We can do the peace here. So it's our mind. It's not about who does what. Our mind is completely kind of way designed. We are always looking for an opportunity for getting into war. So I would say that we have to start from here. We have to create institutions. We have to create policies so that our peace has a chance. And there's a chance. I said, well, every government should have a peace ministry devoted to developing peace. They will be sending their representative in every country how to build peace with them. And so maybe that will help to neutralize those things. So this is the way I said. And there will be peace industry, there's be peace technology. There's no peace technology, there's no peace industry. So we can do that if we want peace.
But what do you think should be the road ahead for Bangladesh in order to become a stable and this important country?
Bangladesh doesn't have that war industry. Bangladesh doesn't have those weapons, doesn't have the money to spend. So we'll be in favor of the peace because by default, we cannot fight any war. So we will be in the peace, and this is peace. Peace is our future. We'll be inviting people when they get tense about war making. We go to cool them down. This is our responsibility because we get caught into the thing. So that's the role Bangladesh should play. How to bring peace to everywhere, not just in the Bay of Bengal, globally, because something happens somewhere, it impacts comes on us. They are fighting in Ukraine, and we suffer from the Ukraine war. So this is how things go on.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Yunus.
Thank you.
It was wonderful to talk to you, and I really hope that Bangladesh comes out of this crisis. And
I hope so. I hope so. We need your support. We need your support. We need the support of all Indian people. We're together. We can be the best of friends, India and Bangladesh. We're so close to each other. We believe in the things together. We do things together. So everything says we will be the best of friends instead of turning into another relationship as the worst of enemies. Why should we? There's no reason to do that. So that's where our government has to learn that putting all your thing on the one person to succeed, irrespective of what she does, is not a good policy. You should be dealing with the people of Bangladesh, not Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Please change your policy. We need it.
Well, since you said that, just to, before closing this, you still think that Bangladesh is really, now that, we've seen people rising, we are sensing a lot of hatred towards Indians also. Do you think that really needs to go, if the country has to really, be developed in the sense that, you cannot create an acrimony with India end of the day?
Sure. It doesn't make any sense to have any acrimony with India. India is our best friend. Why should we have trouble? India is a big country. We have many things to share with India, benefit from India. We don't want India to be our enemy. So we want to be the closest friend because that's what the nature has built us. We share things together. We enjoy things together. So let's change our policies, get together where we are going wrong. Why should we push one person to succeed and everybody else to be ignored? It's a nation, not a person. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much for talking to us. Please
Thank you very much.